told me, he said, "Hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you. You're a good player, and I can see you playing for money. But if you stay here, you're never gonna play."
Hi everybody, here we are, Ageless Ambitions on luxemediastudios. I'm here with my crew, Nick and Chris, and we're in the heart of Hollywood, and it's such a sunny day, and I'm so thrilled and excited to introduce you to somebody who's very, very special to me, and he's a winner. So I want to introduce you to Darious Clark.
How y'all doing?
Hi Darious, how are you?
What's up, Chris?
I'm good. I'm good. Hey, you guys, I want you to know a little bit more about Darious, so I just had to have him on my show. This is Ageless Ambitions, and what we're doing is we're just kind of understanding your backstory, where you've been, where you're going, and just what's your ageless ambition in the future. So I don't really understand your background in terms of what made you get into what you're doing today. You're an athlete, obviously, and so you grew up playing ball or
Pretty much.
just basketball or football?
Well, the first sport I played was football.
Okay.
I played
In
Pop
high school?
Warner
Oh, Pop Warner.
when I was little, very little.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was like my first introduction to sports.
Okay.
Was
Was somebody trying to keep you busy at that time?
My parents probably were.
Okay.
My mom.
Okay.
We were bad, so anything to keep us from,
Maybe get a little discipline too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And just look into authorities outside your mom and your grandma and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you did Pop Warner. Did you love it? Did you like it?
I liked it a lot because I'm competitive. So anything.
Is that when you knew you were competitive?
Well, I've always been competitive, but that was like my introduction to sports.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I go out there, and then they're throwing footballs, and I'm obviously like trying to be the best player out there. So that came back to the neighborhood, and we would play all kind of sports. In
the like on the concrete,
on the concrete.
Right,
yeah,
right.
And that's pretty much where I grew up playing sports. Like we would go up to my elementary school, and we would just play. We would play all day. And then from there, I was obviously one of the better guys there.
You knew you kind of had a little bit of
above
everybody else.
I just was fast.
Fast.
Most of the time I was faster than a lot of people. So obviously speed helps
when you're playing sports, obviously.
Yeah.
But you didn't really know that you were that fast until you're around other people, around other players.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And, ninth grade, I went to try out for my high school team, and they had like a summer league. And I hadn't caught my growth spurt yet. And over the summertime, my team didn't play me. And I was sitting on the bench, and I was just so angry. And I knew what I was capable of. So I ended up quitting the team, and I would just be in my basement, just dribbling the ball all day long.
So was that basketball?
That was basketball.
Okay, so after Pop Warner, playing outside with all your friends and everything, you got to high school and you didn't even get to play on the basketball team?
Well, in high school, I did play, but, grades kind of, hindered me from playing like full seasons. I always would like fail off of something, unfortunately, but that's okay.
But it's not because you're not smart. It's because you just didn't want to.
I had no discipline.
That's my point.
Had
right?
no discipline.
Back in the day.
That's what it was.
Right?
Just, being raised by females, and then you become a teenager as a man, and then you big. It's really hard for a female to discipline a man, So like.
Because you were raised by your grandma.
I was raised by my mom and my grandma.
And your grandma, right? Very special peoples.
Yeah. And my godmom had a big part in me growing up too. But that's 3 females, So once I got like big enough that a whooping, a spanking don't hurt no more, it's over.
Right.
Like whatever you say, like okay, I got you.
Right.
I do my own thing. So I had no discipline, and I ended up, squandering a lot of opportunities for myself. But
So go back to, like, you said that you didn't get to play. You weren't as tall. You didn't have
Okay,
your.
so
Tell
that
me
was
about that.
the summer after eighth grade.
Summer after eighth grade, you were
Summer
still
after
like
eighth grade, I was like about 5'7".
you were small.
I was very small.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
I was
Okay.
about 5'7", and my coaches at the high school, they really wasn't respecting me very much.
But you were downstairs doing your thing, and you
But
knew you had
I was so
skills.
determined. I went home and I quit the team, and I was just working on my game, And over that summer, within like the span of like 2 months, I ended up catching a growth spurt. And I came to high school so this is from like June
That would be
to
so
like
different,
September.
right?
I caught like a growth spurt. I came to high school 6'2".
Wow. Did the same coach see you at
The
that
same
time?
coaches,
What did he
yeah.
say to you then?
They was very surprised to see me. They're like, oh shit. Like, Darius? I'm like, yeah. And on top of that, I had worked on my game so much. So I was also a better basketball player.
Wow.
And yeah, it was up. I
So
was
so
one of the
he
better
put you on
players
the team?
He for sure put me on the team.
Okay. Okay.
Even in ninth grade, at the end of the season, they had like promoted me to varsity.
In ninth grade.
In ninth grade, yeah, I was really good. So then 10th grade came, and I was the youngest player on the varsity team. But guess what? I didn't get to play because of my grades. So this dude, he was like a military history teacher. He couldn't even shoot a basketball, probably. I can't even remember ever seeing him
And he
shoot.
was the coach?
He was the coach.
Oh wow.
So he kicked me off the team because I had bad grades, but I had a 2.0. I was eligible to play.
Gotcha.
So long story short, second half he let me play, but he had me on the bench the whole time, whatever. And then 11th grade I ended up playing, and we.
And
had
you
a
were
good,
6'2" there. You were
yeah,
like taller
I
than
didn't
most.
really grow no more. I'm only 6'3" now, so
Okay.
throughout then I was just like 6'2", 3-ish. Yeah.
But are taller than most guys. Or average?
I
or-
wasn't the tallest, but I was taller than a lot of people.
Okay, got you. Yeah.
So yeah.
So for me, it's like seeing you in high school. Maybe it's something to note out to people that it's important to do well in school,
Definitely.
especially if you want to do sports. It's not just, hey, I'm a good basketball player, so I'm going to be okay with not doing well in school. And that's the lesson kind of that you learned from all that, going on.
Yeah.
Because nobody was telling you, right? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, people probably was telling me. I just wasn't listening.
Okay.
But I feel like in today's age and era, it's a lot easier to do what you have to do in school. It's a lot more resources and a lot more people get involved, especially in sports.
Okay.
Sports has made a big leap.
So you're saying that people that that they're good, they help them more.
Yeah.
I see. Like
because of the money that's involved nowadays, everybody's just like, if they see talent, they're gonna try to invest in it,
right?
And try to
And they didn't have that kind of when you were as much.
Not really. I mean, it wasn't
like
even
a consular.
It wasn't even social media.
Oh,
this is like right before the social media age. So a lot of the stuff that I would do would be, go
wouldn't be seen. Right.
And I didn't grow up in the city. I grew up in the suburbs, so it's like I wasn't really getting no type of exposure.
Got you. But you were good.
But I was very good. I mean, even my senior year, I only played 5 games out of like maybe 31 games. I played like the first 5, and I was like second in scoring in the whole PG County, which is where I'm from, behind a guy named Percy. And every game I would check the paper and I would see I was second. Like, damn, I just got to score like 3 more points or something like that. But I ended up failing off the team.
Because of grades again?
Because of grades.
Oh.
This time I was eligible. I had a 2.67, and you only needed a 2.0. But because test scores was so low in my county, they had implemented a new rule where you can't fail no class. So it don't matter what your GPA is. If you got one failing grade, then you're out. And I ended up failing work study. So we're talking about, I had like chemistry, I had like math, English, all these I had A's in, and I failed work study. But the thing,
how do you feel?
here's the thing. I was so good that I wasn't doing no work in school. I barely went to class, but everybody had my back in the school. So my teachers was really like giving me grades, kinda, you know. And this one teacher,
the work study
guy, he wasn't.
He didn't like you.
He didn't like it. He didn't like it at all. You know, he was like, "Who you think you are?" type stuff. You know, I'm a kid though. I wasn't even paying him attention. I got so much going on. My head is like blown up.
A little bit blown up.
Because I'm really like killing. And not only am I killing, I'm physically stronger than a lot of people, so I feel big, you know. And he didn't like it. And he knew what he was doing too. And
so he kind of ruined it for you a little bit.
He definitely ruined it for me.
Because you got to, okay, so after high school and kind of things not going so well, you did get invited to a lot of schools as a D1. Who gets to do that?
Because of a guy named Coach Glick. He was our rival school coach. He liked that out. You know, he liked the way I played. So he took me to try out at this junior college called Cecil, which was a very big school for junior colleges in our area. And I tried out, I made the team, and that's how I was able to go Division I. So that was a good program where they had a lot of players who didn't have grades or whatever their situations may be. They would come there and they would get good scholarships. So I went there and went through that program.
And that's what got you into D1, which a lot of people do not even get to think that they get to be recruited from D1.
Right. And I went to a school called Illinois State in the Missouri Valley Conference. And it was a very, very good school, very good program with very good players. And
but you told me, which, you know, we had talked about this, but you told me that you kind of picked that school because it was on TV.
Yeah, you know.
Versus a good school for you.
I really wanted to,
be seen.
Take my time with what college I choose, but I was dealing with a lot. You know, I was actually in jail when they was recruiting me.
Oh my gosh, what'd you do?
Just traffic violations, but very bad traffic violations. Like it goes back to discipline. You know, I kept just doing the same stuff over and over. You know, driving my car because I paid for my car with my money that I earned. So I felt like couldn't nobody tell me not to drive it, regardless if I had a license or registration. I ain't have nothing but the vehicle. I kept driving it though. But you know, I ended up after like 7 times getting caught up, I ended up having to do a little jail time for that. And you know,
that's so sad. Like that's only like for traffic and your and then that's what kind of really made it hard for you to transfer into a D1 school. You were already having trouble with that.
Yeah, so when the whole recruitment process was going on, I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have anything, so nobody could really get in touch with me.
Because not a lot of people could have gotten in touch with you. And
I would have to check my my voicemails. And I was hearing like coaches trying to get in touch with me. And you know, and I looked up Illinois State, and they was the biggest school that was trying to recruit me that I know of. You know, I did hear from like Florida State.
And that would have been a good school probably.
Yeah, but I didn't want to go that high because I did want to go somewhere where I felt like I could be the man. And my GM was telling me that Florida State was pretty much trying to say that they would need me to come in and
sit on the bench,
back up.
And you didn't want to do that.
Yeah, and I was a JUCO kid, so I would go into the school with just 2 years, and I didn't want to back up nobody. I felt like
you could start.
I was the man. So I was like, yeah, I need to find a good school I can go to, and I looked up their schedule, and they had like 12 nationally televised games. So I was pretty much sold on it. So I told them, yeah, I'll take a visit. They came down to my school. We worked out. And then I flew up to their school, played with their players, and I felt like it was the right spot for me. They had kind of told me that they was going to do a small ball, 3 guards, and I was like, okay, cool, you know. But when I got there, that wasn't really the case. I didn't really have nobody that could
support you.
Yeah, speak for me or anything, you know. And it's a whole story within that, but long story short, it didn't work out for me. And
which was kind of sad because you really wanted that to be
You know,
something.
I really went up there with good intentions. You know, I was really focused, and it kind of just broke me down,
Hmm.
a lot. But
Because you didn't have a coach that believed in you, because it was only the assistant coach that kind
well,
of
the assistant coach that recruited me, he didn't have no
say so.
he didn't have no say so. I mean,
Hmm.
the coach didn't respect him.
Oh, so that you just didn't have any.
So I was brought into a weird situation
Hmm.
already, and then with me,
And especially thinking that this is your big break, like
yeah,
you've messed up a little bit here and there in high school, but you got through the D1
and
and you're ready to show your talent, and then it just.
it's like I always, would put myself in a situation where I have a chance to do something great for myself, and then it's a setback, and then I work my ass off, get back to where I can do something great for myself, and then it's a setback, and then boom, boom, it just never ends. And everything happens for a reason. So I just keep it going day by day and just
Hmm.
continue to work.
So you didn't really get to play.
Nope, didn't get to play. I think I kind of went to the school with a short leash because they was recruiting me out of jail, and then
Oh my goodness.
he was like, "Are you done with jail, Darius?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." Boom, boom. I go to school and I end up getting locked up for my teammate.
Oh, this is a new situation.
This is a new situation. We got into like a street fight outside of the bar.
Oh, wow.
And, I tried to do everything I could to avoid the fight because I'm trying not to be in trouble, you know? But I had no choice.
You did it for somebody else.
I was in the fight for my friend. Yeah.
You just didn't want to walk away.
I couldn't leave him. They were definitely going to jump him.
And so you just.
Even though he started it. They was going to jump him. I couldn't leave him. I wanted to leave though, but I decided not to leave. And I ended up going to jail that night. And then on top of that, they had asked me to write a statement as to what happened, but I didn't really want to say what happened because I didn't want to, get my friend in trouble or anything like that. So I pretty much just kept it really vague and tried to
Too nice. Like you were definitely a friend,
Yeah.
and it just put you in a bad spot because
It
then
put me in
now
a bad spot because now the coach looking at me like I'm
a jailer.
a troublemaker, a jailbird.
Oh my God.
Jailbird. So, that didn't work out for me, and
That was hard.
it was definitely tough
Were
for
you
me.
did you that you decided to leave?
Well, I didn't want to leave. The
You
coach
didn't want.
actually,
Oh, really?
he tricked me to leave.
Okay.
Because he had to I had to sign a release, or else my scholarship would automatically renew. But he was leaving. The coach was leaving. There was going to be a new coach, so it actually would have been like a fresh start for me.
And you didn't do that?
Well, he didn't tell me he was leaving,
Oh shoot.
but he knew he was leaving.
Mm.
So he brought me into the office, and then he was like, "Yo, D, so what you gonna do for this season?" And I hadn't played all season, and he know I was good. The whole team knew I was good. And so I told him, I was like, you know what? I'm here. I'm just gonna stay here. And if I don't play, it's okay. I'll just support my guys, and we're gonna just work. We had a good team. We lost in the championship, so I was like, I'm support my guys. We're gonna work. And I'll just graduate from here. And then he told me, he said, "Hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you. You're a good player, and I can see you playing for money. But if you stay here, you're never gonna play."
Believing Before Seeing, a new book by Candace Barr, teaching you how to believe into existence. Available now for pre-order.
I'm never gonna play you. He said that verbatim. So when I looked him in his face and he was saying that, it's just like, okay, well, if that's the case, let me just go somewhere else because there's no reason to stay here. If I know for
He
a
tricked
fact,
you for sure.
He tricked me for sure. He was like, "Yeah, I'm never gonna play you." So I said, "Okay." I signed the release, and then the next day,
He's
in
gone.
the team meeting, he announced that he was leaving.
You didn't want to face anybody saying he tricked me or anything like that?
Well, at the time, I was just trying to get the attention of the new coach.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to get the attention of the new coach. I was playing hard in like our little open gyms. He was in there watching and stuff, but I don't think he really wanted to give me a chance because I was a senior. Why would you waste a scholarship? You can bring in a freshman and groom them, etc.
Got you.
So, long story short, I ended up going home, and I actually had quit basketball. You know, I was pretty messed up about that.
Wow.
I quit ball and just started hanging out with my friends, drinking, smoking, and doing a bunch of stupid stuff and partying, hanging out. And at the end of the summer, they called me. They called me and asked me, Coach. I think if I can remember his name, Judson.
Who's Rob Johnson? Like
Coach Rob Judson.
From where?
From Illinois State.
Oh, really?
He was an assistant coach at that time. Now he's might be coaching somewhere else at a big school, but I don't know where. But he had called me and was like, "Yo, D, we want to offer you a scholarship for you to come back." But it was so late, and I was like 15 pounds heavier, straight snacks,
All these opportunities.
straight snacks and alcohol.
Oh my goodness!
And I was like, I didn't. I was like, there's no reason to go back for my last year just to do the same thing, sit on the bench. So I told him no thank you, and then I ended up going Division II. And I had a decent year there, you know.
So D2, but that gets you kind of out of the rankings.
Yeah, I kind of fell off the map. I mean, now D2 is not so bad, but at that time, D2 was not really looked at as like you can play.
Right.
You know?
So D2, and then you graduated. You got a degree.
Got a degree.
So what did you get a degree in?
Social work.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you did your job.
Probably never going to use, but
hey,
I got it.
You got a degree where you didn't do that like commitment in high school. You definitely made that opportunity for you.
Well, I graduated high school.
I know you did, but you know the way that you.
I did the same thing in college.
Okay.
I barely graduated. I barely got my degree. No, I graduated easily because I was like I said, my senior year I was actually an honor roll student. You know, I had like
You're very smart.
I was an honor roll student. It was just the one guy who failed me.
Right.
And in college, you know, I was sometiming. Like I would do work, but I spent most of my time in the gym.
In the basketball play.
You know.
So after you did your D2, and you knew, I mean, your goals, I think, at the time were to be in the NBA.
Yeah, well, after I went D2, I kind of
knew that wasn't much.
I didn't really, think much about the NBA. I was more so thinking about overseas.
Okay.
And, I was able to get a job over in Luxembourg. And I was having a decent year. I felt like I was underrated, though, but it was okay. And then after Luxembourg, I went to Saudi Arabia and won a championship over there.
Nice.
Felt really good about myself. And I didn't have any representation. So after I won my championship, I didn't have a job. And it was like, damn, how do I not get a job?
Right. But you've been playing overseas for a long time now.
Yeah, about 10 years.
Right? So you did pretty good.
I did about 6 years just hustling on my own. I'd be up all night long sending emails.
So you were
thousands of emails.
You were determined to keep playing.
Yeah, I was definitely determined, and I would work out all day, come home and just send emails all night long.
And that
I was researching, finding contacts, writing them, jumping from this guy, he'll send me here, he'll send me there. I'm all over the place.
And then you already, like, to do that, you had to learn to, like, edit all your own tapes to be sent out. You did. Is that how you learned how to do all that?
Tapes, yeah.
Yeah.
I edit all my tapes, do the music, everything.
Well, you won a few championships overseas. How many did you win to? Okay. Two championships. Yeah. One was on Armenia. One was Saudi Arabia. So
that was the best year.
That was the best year. That was a good year.
Yeah.
That was a good year.
Time.
And okay, so when you just got back from Saudi Arabia, you went back and you went to Saudi Arabia.
I went right back to the same team because I didn't have a job. So I had to call them like, hey, man, I don't have a job, so I need you guys to bring me back. And I went back and we had a different coach and almost a different team. Like all my best players was in the Saudi army. So I was playing with
They have an army there?
Yeah, they have an army.
Oh, I don't even know that.
I think it's like mandatory.
Ooh, okay.
18. So all my best players was in the army and I was left with the bench players from my championship team.
Oh, wow.
But because it was a new coach, he didn't know them. And the bench players was acting like they was great. And I'm sitting there looking at everybody like, what's going on? And then so they villainized me. And the coach was like, hey, blah, blah. And I'm like, Coach, these guys don't play. Like, they suck. And, I ended up telling the team just to release me because I had set up a different job down in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So I left there, went to Mexico.
Got you. Yeah. And then you play also, like, it's a really interesting tournament in the summer. It's called the TBT, which is the basketball tournament. Yeah. And it's for like $1 million. It used to be like $2 million. $2 million.
It was first 500,000. Then it went to $1 million. Then it went to 2 million.
Right.
And then after COVID and stuff, it
went back to
down to $1 million. Yeah.
So that's an interesting tournament that it's a lot of alumni college teams, but then you can bring in any kind of team and try to make it. Yep. And you did that for a couple of years, and you did really well with that.
Yeah, you want to know something? So the first year, I was invited to my friend's team, Brandon Green and Josh Selby and them. I went and played with them, and that was my introduction to it. And I was like, you know what? I need to put my own team in this because it'll be something I can get some good exposure. So the next year, they was letting people put teams in through votes. And so what I did was I went out and got my team like 3,000 votes to get into this tournament. And we ended up getting in. Nobody thought we was going to get in. Because
I heard you went to like nail salons.
I would go into nail because, girls be eating all stories up. They love stories. So I go into a nail salon. I would find the owner. And I'd be like, yo, who's the owner? And the boom, she'll come out and then I tell her my story. And she'll spread it to everybody in the nail salon.
To vote.
Everybody will vote.
They didn't have to put in money. It was just about voting.
Just
right,
email.
Just to vote.
I was hitting up everybody I knew from school. And, luckily I always had a lot of support from
your town,
people I grew up with, and I'm very grateful for all my friends. And so I would hit up everybody I knew. I would go to malls. I was in MGM every night.
Because there's the MGM.
The MGM right by the house,
DC.
And it's open all night long.
Right.
So I would have to work. I would have to work out. Mm-hmm. Then I have to work. Then I go to the MGM because it's late night. I go to the MGM, and I wouldn't gamble a dollar.
You just ask people to vote.
Asking people to vote, chopping it up.
And you did really well in that tournament.
You want to know the worst part about that? When I'm asking all these people to vote, I had a broke foot. So I'm on crutches. I'm on crutches like, yo, I'm going to play this summer. Can you vote for me? People are looking at me like, how you going to play? I'm like, don't worry, I'm going to play. And so the cast came off and I had 1 month to train. Yeah, my boy was fasting, but he was a great addition to the team. Mm-hmm. We had a very competitive team. We just didn't have enough players. Guys just didn't come through. We only had 6. Mm-hmm. Had we had some subs, we probably could have did a little better.
You almost beat the number 1 team.
Yeah,
the last year, the team that won the year before.
That won the previous 3 years before.
You almost beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was in a good game with them all the way until the end. They kind of pulled away.
I can't wait for people to see you play because I think you're amazing, and
what came from that?
Yeah.
What came from that, Chris, is that this team that I'm playing with this year, they saw me from that game, and they recruited me, and because of that, all my efforts that I put into
Florida TNT.
Okay. Because of the efforts I put into that, it gives me the opportunity to play with them now.
Can you imagine like winning like $1 million, like because just like that? The tournament is crazy. It's very, very good, but it gives you that goal to just that ambition, that ageless ambition, because these guys have all played in college and they're really not playing anywhere, maybe overseas like you, but they're not like, in the NBA or anything like.
Well, a lot the tournament has a lot of guys who are like in the NBA, out the NBA, and the NBA out. They're doing G League and they're doing high level overseas.
So it's a high quality, but
most of the guys in the tournament, they're playing overseas because they get more money overseas.
So you're playing ball still. You're getting ready to do some things in the summer. In fact, you went to the combine for the Big 3, right, with Michael Cooper.
2 summers ago, yeah.
Yeah, 2 summers ago. So you're going to be going back, and the Big 3 is Ice-T's event. So it's like 3-on-3.
Not Ice-T.
I'm sorry. I always mess up. Ice Cube. Sorry, Ice-T, Ice Cube. Isn't there an Ice-T?
There is an Ice-T, but It's not his.
Okay, Ice Cube. Sorry, Ice Cube.
So, yeah,
So
Ice
it's on
Cube.
it's on TV. It's like on CBS and everything, and it's a 3-on-3 game, which is a lot different. And
It's very exciting.
you got in the draft, so hopefully this year is your year. You know that you get
Yeah,
to.
the last time I did the tryout, I had a really good showing.
Yeah, Nancy
and I got
Lieberman
some
came up
good-
to you.
Yeah, I got some really good feedback.
Tracy Murray came up
Mm-hmm.
to you. Coop thought you were amazing.
Yeah.
It's just that's the thing. That's the reason why I wanted to do this show, because there's adversities in life, and sometimes you just don't have the chance to do what you really want to do. But if you keep trying, that ambition to really never stop wanting what you want is what makes me love to do this show, because we want people to know that everybody has adversities, everybody has challenges. And just like you talked about, you were very real and open about everything that has happened to you. So, we all think that things come easy when you see people playing ball or doing anything, and it's not. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of practice, it takes a lot of discipline. And I'm just so proud of you. And so you're going to be hopefully going to the combine, but in terms of wanting something, in your future, if it's basketball, I don't know. Like, I know you want to play a few more years overseas. I think, but in terms of beyond that, like what are you hoping for with the ideas of everything, traveling around the world and seeing the world? Like, a lot of people have never been out of the States. So that's been a really great experience for you. So what would you tell people, like, what do you want to do in your future? Like, how can you tell people that no matter what adversities you have, keep trying, because at one point things are going to come through?
As far as my future, I really don't know what I want to do. I don't see my future having anything to do with basketball, though. Anything I would do with basketball would just be just
Fun?
like voluntary.
Okay.
Volunteering with
But you're still going to try a few more years of pro ball overseas?
we'll
or
see
no?
how it goes.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely have a few more years left in me.
Mhm.
I don't feel any different from the past 5-6 years, actually, but I just take it a day at a time.
Okay.
Right now I'm still training every day, and that's what I got going, basketball. But
And I want to say that we are partners.
yeah.
And we are partners with our skincare line called Hedo. And so that's something that has been really exciting for both of us, and just to see a different side of what business is about. And I think that's been fun for both of us.
I'm very grateful that you allowed me to go on this journey with you,
Thank you.
And that's really what I'm hoping the future is, that we be like super successful.
I want to be successful with you.
Skincare. I mean, the thing is like, as hard as you work, there's just no way it's not going to happen, And I want to also match the the hard work that you put on the table, and let's hopefully make something happen.
Let's go. So everybody out there, please understand that this message and this, interview was about people that have been challenged, and no matter what, there's still hope and there's still future if you want it. That's the Ageless Ambitions that we really want to bring to you.
You just keep going.
Yes.
I mean, no matter what happens, you can't stop.
Yes, don't stop. So thank you guys for being here on Ageless Ambitions. Thank you, Darius. You did such a great job.
Thanks for having
and
me,
we
Chris.
can't wait to see you again. Bye, everybody.